Call the meeting to order. First off, thanks everybody for showing up tonight, second night in a row. It's great to see you guys out. Congratulations to the town hockey team, the Broncos, for their victory over the weekend. When we get started tonight, if you're going to speak, please ensure your mics are on and you're close enough to the mic so people can hear you. And a reminder, everybody must vote. When we do a vote, everybody's required to vote either yea or nay. All right. Any additions to the agenda? Councillor Simonowitz?
I'd like to move the RCMP appointment from 8.0 to 7.0 and switch it with finance.
Okay, thank you. Any other changes? Can I get a motion to,
Vote on it.
a motion to accept the agenda as amended?
I just did.
Did you?
Councillor Simonowitz, you can't put forward two motions at the same time. So you can move some, sorry, let me rephrase that. You requested that we move it, and then did you ask then for the agenda to be amended?
No.
Okay, so you've requested that 8.1 move to before 7.0?
Yeah.
Okay, a motion is required from council now to accept the agenda as amended.
Councillor Curry?
I'll motion that. So moved.
All those in favor? So carried unanimous. 6.1, adoption of the minutes for council meeting of March the 10th, 2026. Did anybody note any errors or omissions in those minutes? Seeing none, could I get a motion, please? Councillor Curry,
So moved.
what are you moving? Any further questions?
Sorry, could you repeat that, Councillor Curry? That was not heard.
Your motion, just repeat your motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Oh, I said so moved.
So the mayor asked for a motion, and no motion was put on the floor. So we need a motion that council approves the minutes as presented.
I'm not saying it anymore, that's the thing, you guys have to say it now.
So I motion to accept the minutes as presented.
All those in favor? So carried unanimous. All right, presentation from the RCMP. You want to come up front here, my friend? Welcome. And just on the mic, if you hit it one button there, she'll light up for you.
So thank you, Mayor and Council, for having me this evening, and congratulations to the Broncos on the league championship. So I'm here to present the third quarter results. So that stems from January 1st to October 1st to December 31st. Staff Sergeant Darcy McGonigal couldn't be here this evening as she's on vacation currently. So my purpose here is to provide an update to council on the operations of the Morinville RCMP detachment for the third quarter. The Morinville RCMP detachment provides 24-hour policing to several municipalities and communities, including the Alexander First Nation, Sturgeon County, Town of Bonaccord, Town of Gibbons, Town of Legal, and Town of Morinville. Our detachment is comprised of 40 personnel, 1 staff sergeant, which is Staff Sergeant Darcy McGonigal, 1 sergeant, myself, who's in charge of operations for the Morinville detachment, 5 corporals, 18 plus 1 constables, including the school resource officer, and the school resource officer is Constable Tanner Wills, 4 public service employees, 4 Town of Morinville full-time employees, 5 Town of Morinville casual employees, and 1 reservist constable. We currently have Constable Jonathan Boulay, who transferred in from St. Paul. He started about 2 weeks ago. We have Constable Paul Charbois transferring in from St. Paul as well. He's coming and should be boots on the ground, I believe, by the end of June. Constable Ortman, he's transferring out. He's going to the Alberta Relief Unit, and he'll be leaving Morinville by the end of this month. We have 1 member on sick leave 2 members on administrative leave, and 2 members on parental leave right now. So the Morinville RCMP detachment 2025-2026 priorities were property crime reduction, community engagement, and police visibility. Currently, Darcy and myself are going over communities' preference in regards to what they see fit for their priorities for the upcoming fiscal year. And so we're going to sit down together, collaborate as to what meets majority of the communities, as well as what we're being told from our headquarters in Edmonton. And we should be able to have our police and priorities set for 2026, 2027 very shortly. So for the 2025-2026, the property crime reduction, the objective was to have a 15% annual reduction of vehicle thefts and break and enters. So we labeled 3 initiatives. One was for the targeted specialized investigations. So that was proactive projects led by GIS using covert investigations. Crime prevention, so we had public awareness and education sessions on theft prevention measures, and habitual offender management, which is organized monitoring of repeat property offenders, which then is an efficient process for arrest. We find that a majority of the individuals that we deal with, that when it comes to vehicle thefts and property thefts, they are an ongoing problem. So as we arrest, they get through the process, they come out, we now are ensuring their compliance with their conditions and trying to really hit home that, you know, when you're out in conditions, you got to amend or you have to stick with those conditions. If not, you're going to go see the court process yet again. And so for the progress, and this isn't counting just all of Sturgeon County or all of Morinville detachment area, we have 30% total reduction of vehicle thefts from 124 to 87, and 5% total reduction in break and entries from 126 to 120. For the community engagement piece, our objective was promoting positive engagement through police and community. Our initiatives that we had selected was school engagement, so increased school resource officer presence in all schools. Our communication strategy, monthly policing updates to the public in collaboration with municipalities. We had community events, which is regular involvement in community events and the establishment of the positive ticking program, and the Alexander First Nation, which is operations NCO, myself, to act as a dedicated liaison to AFN for their specific needs. And the progress so far for the community engagement, we completed an emergency service open house. We had Remembrance Day services, Candy Cane Chet Stop with the town of Morinville, Sturgeon County peace officers, fire department, as well as town of Morinville council and mayor there. We legal COP. We have coffee with the COP meetings throughout the different communities in our policing area. We have our school resource officer program, and Constable Wills is doing a fantastic job of reaching out to all the schools in our area. And so far for the third quarter, we had provided or given out 85 positive tickets to the youths in the community. For our third priority, it was police visibility. So the objective was increase police visibility in the public. So the initiatives that we had selected was joint operations. So we had a collaboration with municipal enforcement, military police, and Alberta sheriffs, and the RAVE program, which is regular updates on incidents in progress along with weekly activity summaries. And the progress for that one was monthly traffic operations with partner agencies. We have RAVE bulletins on weekly policing activity and immediate notifications, and our monthly police roundups to the municipalities. For the crime statistics for the town of Gibbons for the third quarter, from the Mental Health Act, we had 5 compared to 3 in the third quarter comparison in 2024. Our PACT referrals, which is just a specialized unit when it comes to mental health professionals, they're the ones that come out and do a full assessment. We had 1 referral in third quarter of this year, and we had 1 as the previous year. We had 1 break and enter in residence, 0 compared to the previous year. Break and enter commercial, we had 2 files for the third quarter and 3 from the 2024 year. Theft of vehicles, we had 1 compared to 2. And fraud, we had 3 compared to 6 in the previous quarter. And suspicious persons, 10, which is from 12 from the previous year. So far for the third quarter, calls of service, was 160. So the year to date, we had 493 calls for service. Previous quarter was 190, so we are down 30 calls from that point. Compared to 2024 was 153, and year to date 2024 was 466. So we are pretty much very similar to the previous year as to call volume. It's just you just see where we are trying to target it, you do see a reduction in those areas. Some notable investigations, and this throughout the Morinville Detachment area. On October 2nd, a report of 4 businesses were broken into on 100 Avenue in Morinville. Suspect located nearby and arrested. The 34-year-old man was charged with 4 counts of break and enter, 4 counts of property damage, 2 counts of theft, and 2 counts of failing to comply with probation. On October 6th, a report of a suspicious vehicle near Highway 37 and Range Road 10. We attended and arrested the driver, a 48-year-old man, and he was charged with impaired driving and possession of a dangerous weapon. On October 14th, a complaint of a vehicle hitting a sign at the restaurant drive-thru and leaving. Driver was later identified and charged with failing to remain at the scene of an accident. On October 29th, a complaint of a house broken into while the family was away on vacation. The suspect was identified and known to the occupants, and a 23-year-old woman was charged with break and enter. November 23rd, that's a repeat, that's my mistake. November 25th, there was a break and enter to a residence on Highway 642. The suspect was arrested, known to the homeowner, and the 61-year-old man was charged with break and enter. On November 28th, there was a theft from a convenience store on Highway 2 west of Legal. The suspect made gun threats to the staff, later arrested in Cardiff, and a 19-year-old female was charged with robbery. On December 10th, complaint of a carjacking on Alexander First Nation. 2 suspects were arrested. A 22-year-old and a 40-year-old man was charged with robbery, assault, and weapon charges. On December 10th, there was a report of a 2-vehicle collision on Highway 642 in Alexander First Nation. 1 vehicle was stolen from Athabasca and fled before police arrived. The suspect later located and arrested, and a 34-year-old man was charged with failing to remain at an accident, possession of stolen property, and prohibited driving. On December 15th, report of break and enter in progress at a business near Range Road 260 in Sturgeon County. The police attended and we set up containment, located and arrested 2 suspects on scene. Also recovered a stolen vehicle from Edmonton, and the 37 and 39-year-old man was arrested and charged with break and enter, possessing stolen property, theft, possession of break-in instruments, and failing to comply with the previous release conditions. On December 18th, report of a carjacking on Alexander First Nation. Suspect was later located and arrested, and 31-year-old man was charged with robbery and failing to comply with release conditions. Thank you. Any questions?
Excuse me, I do, everyone. With the drastic increase in fuel prices right now, are you guys anticipating an increase in fuel theft from vehicles? That what we saw before was drilling out gas tanks, like drilling holes in gas tanks, stealing fuel?
It's hard to say because we don't know. We do actually have a lot of our prolific offenders in custody, in jail right now. So it's hard to say given the fuel prices.
Right.
But that's not to say that, people in the rural areas shouldn't be mindful or shouldn't be careful of, like, especially with their fuel tanks on their properties or even their vehicles parked. I think for the most part, most communities, when they do park their vehicles, it's not so much that we were having problems of the vehicles actually getting drilled out for the fuel. It was more so the rural properties and their large fuel tanks actually being broken with the valves and actually stealing the theft that way. Right. But I do feel like that was more of an issue maybe about 2 years ago, and I think with a little bit more education as to brighter lights, making it more visible from the roadways or neighbors, it seems like that actually cut down from previous. But are we anticipating it? No, but at the same time, that is a good
Right.
thing that we'd probably be on the lookout for.
Don't give them any ideas, Rick.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah. I guess another question for your deployment model. I know it's probably it's the fact of downtime. I guess I don't know if is a thing anymore, that you guys, this, for visibility aspect of it, when you mentioned that you guys are trying to be more visible in the communities. So if you have some downtime, there's paperwork to do, are you guys roll into a small communities and parked in the communities to do the paperwork, or side of the highway, or?
Yeah, for some of the individuals, they do stop at different, either side of the road or sometimes the community is more like a well-lit area. There are some officers that don't necessarily like that, because at the same time when you're doing your paperwork on your computer and your head's down and you're not aware of the surrounding space. So there is kind of like a safety or an officer safety aspect to that. But downtime, there's not much downtime with the amount of paperwork. And if there is, because obviously, especially in the winter season, the winter months, and it's still winter out there, they have more time. So you are seeing longer and more patrols, especially on the highways, these communities during these hours, because ultimately I don't want my members just sitting in the office doing nothing, twiddling their thumbs, right? So that's more for like the night shift, day shifts. They are getting out. There's a lot more call volume during the day shifts. So they're mostly tied up with those matters. But yeah, some of the to answer your question, some of the officers are out just side of the road in communities doing their, whether it's ticket notes or just notes off a file that they just concluded.
Excellent, thanks. Any other questions? No? Excellent. Thanks so much for your time and taking the time out of your day to come in. Drive safe out there. It's, looks like we're due for another 10 or 15 centimeters, so.
Yeah, not
hopefully
looking forward to
Most of
that.
it miss us, but
Yes, well, thank you very much.
To get back on our meds.
Oh, yes.
yeah,
All right, have a good night.
great. Take,
Thank you so much.
could I get a motion, please? To Counselor Longstaff?
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the RCMP report as information.
All those in favor? So carried unanimous. 7.1, finance accounts paid as of March 19th, 2026. Did we do the minute, we adopted the minutes already, right? We did that one? So do we have any questions on that? Counselor Longstaff?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I've seen this before, but on the very last page, second one from the bottom, it says refund Bald Eagles. What are the Bald Eagles?
That's actually a hockey team. A bunch of old guys that really beat us young kids quite often. So, as an aside, that's a refund for, they had a booking, put down a damage deposit, and it's a refund of the damage deposit.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
Any further questions?
One thing, if I may, Mayor.
Yes.
So I just wanted to take a little chance to talk about process moving forward, specifically around reporting on the financial side of things. So one of the big pieces that we were waiting for was obviously to pass the budget, to get a budget fully done, documented, passed. And at that point in time, I'll start to introduce a little bit better reporting. So a checklisting is not something that we normally provide in the reporting, just because it doesn't provide value. What we want to provide a report on is our budget versus actuals. So that'll be one of the reports, as well as a cash flow position. So again, fully support the process while there was no budget that was passed and nothing that you guys had for information on the budget. But we'll look to improve the reporting process once we have our budget passed and can establish that reporting process.
Excellent, thank you. Mr. DeHamel?
If I may, Mr. Mayor, just one thing on that. I think it's very important, again, for the public to be aware that in no way is moving to more of a conventional reporting process in any way looking at minimizing transparency. In fact, I believe it increases transparency quite a bit. Review of checks is something that a lot of smaller municipalities do. It's long been a practice, but again, as Ryan said, there isn't a lot of value in it, and that it doesn't really kind of tell any kind of a story about what we're working on out in the field, the challenges that we have from a financial perspective. And so it's not that the data will not be available to yourselves or the public at any time if you wish. It's just that we're going to basically up our game in relationship to the way that we report and share kind of the results to both yourself and the public.
Excellent, thank you. Any other questions? Councilor Morrison?
I appreciate that, in all honesty, because personally, I also agree the checks in one sense cause more problems than they actually resolve, but they don't tell me anything. They tell me that you spent $400,000, but it doesn't tell me if you had the 400,000 to spend, and it doesn't tell me what our debt level is, what our cash position is, so on and so forth. So the fact that you're going to start to bring that information forward is very, very welcome, in my opinion.
Seeing none, could I get a motion? Oh, Counselor St. Germain?
For the Summit truck equipment rental, what is that one?
That's your favorite sewer vac truck.
I thought it might be, thank you.
I think that every meeting, that thing's gonna rear its ugly head. I tell you, it's a sore spot in everybody's for sure. Can I get a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to accept his information.
All those in favor? So carried unanimous. 10.1, Community Service Advisory Committee. Mr. Longstaff, I believe that is yours.
Thank you. As all of council here knows, even before we were actually elected, there was a number of people wanting to bring back the Community Services Board that we used to have. We've all been sent the former bylaw, which was dated 2011, which obviously was removed by the previous CIO, I guess, from what I'm told. Anyway, I'd like to move that council direct administration to bring forward a request for decision regarding reestablishment of the Community Services Advisory Committee, pending the outcome of the viability review and vote in June.
Do we have any questions for Darren? So, all those in favor of the motion that is presented by Councillor Longstaff? So carried unanimous. 10.2, Councillor Longstaff, I believe that is yours as well.
Okay, so for the last several years and, sorry, is that better? Yep. I can speak louder. The past several years before council and even on council, I've heard some people requesting to be able to have chickens. And I know it's been a bit of a contention over the last few years, and I think the other council might have dealt with it as well. So I'm not just bringing this up blindly. I've actually done research on a number of different urban hen programs within Alberta, specifically focusing on both Lamont and Bonaccord. Lamont, because it's the main one I've seen with a lot of information, and it's the first one I found online. And then I was getting information that Bonaccord also has an urban hen program. So what I would like to do is to actually do a presentation for the town to see what their thoughts are, because there actually is quite a bit involved with having chickens in any rural area. So basically, I'd like to make a motion that council directs administration to bring forward a plan for a public open house to gather community feedback regarding a potential urban hen program for council's review and approval. And if anybody wants, I have a bunch of the information that I'm actually going to do as a PowerPoint, should this go through.
Excuse me. Any questions for Darren? Is it possible for you to share the documents that you have so we could review, we will have an opportunity to review them? Should we get any of the citizens ask us any questions, we can provide them.
Certainly, I can send that to you guys in the morning.
Okay, so could I get a, Councilor Morrison?
I don't disagree with the program. I'm wondering about the timing for wanting to institute this program now and to have an open house when we're going through a viability review, And we've got an awful lot, and administration has an awful lot on their plates as well. So I'm wondering more about timing, and the answer to that timing could just simply be, I know nothing about chickens. Chickens hatch in the spring, and we need to get moving forward now, something along that line. So I'm just really questioning more timing. Respectfully.
So with regards to timeline, the reason I'm doing this now is because, again, it would be to get the community's opinion. At the very earliest that any of this could be done in terms of actually owning chickens would be next spring, so 2027. Because come the fall, they can't give permits for chickens, but you also have to have your development for your coop and everything else approved and stuff like that. So it's gonna take at least a year for anything like this to actually take place, should the community be in favor when they find out all the things that have to be done in order to do it. I hope that helped.
Okay, thank you. Any for Councillor Simonowitz?
I guess I just want to share Councillor Morrison's point in regards to the timing being off. I think we have too many fish to fry, so to speak, with our viability review, our finances, everything else, and I don't see this as a priority. It's been kind of turned down in the past, and it is a pretty involved process, and I don't know, I'm not ready for it.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Saint Germain.
I've also heard quite a bit about the chickens. The people that really want the chickens really want chickens. I have no issue with the timing personally. And we have spoken about it, and it is quite involved. So I think the earlier we get on it, the better, so that people can have their chickens, if that's the way it goes, by spring if need be, or not.
Councillor Curry.
What, if this went through, like I understand there's a process and we have to have information and public opinion. If it went through, what would we be getting first, the chicken or the egg?
Well, if you must, you can't really collect any of the eggs unless you actually have the chickens.
Where do the chickens come from?
Hey. You. Councillor Morrison?
As it's not council that is moving forward and doing the legwork to start this process, it's administration. So can I have administration weigh in on the time commitment to start this process?
Well, through Mr. Mayor, I've never done a chicken review before, so I would have to say, as I always say, and I always say to people that work in this business, if you don't have an answer, say, we'll get back to you. But that said, going through similar processes to something like this before, I personally don't think it would be overly extensive for us to at least get going on it and be able to provide council with at least a timeline of what this would look like. And so I'd probably say for the next council meeting, we will commit to looking at what Councillor Longstaff has brought forward in relationship to, what you want. We'll take a look at best practices around the practice itself and the process, and then come back with a timeline and then give council an opportunity to say yea or nay. I'll also provide you with an opportunity to understand what I think that would do in relationship to our timeline, our work plan as well, because as you're aware, we're pretty busy with a few things right now. Not saying that we couldn't fit it in though. We'll have to just see, what the time commitment is, because I'm not aware of the exact process just yet.
Thank you. Any further questions? Seeing none, could we get a vote on the motion? Do you need the motion read back, or are you guys all good? Councillor Longstaff made a motion that we direct administration to bring forward a plan for a public open house to gather community feedback regarding the potential urban hen program for council review and approval. So all those in favor? Opposed? You have to vote. Did you vote?
I did vote. I voted for it. I'm a little bit washy on the wording
Okay.
because it's around an open house as opposed to actually finding out more information about the urban hen program. It's more. You're like my police. I'm a little bit more concerned about the motion itself because it's around an open house as opposed to the gathering of information to better understand the Urban Hen program and what it means to administration in the town. So maybe a little bit of a friendly amendment to the motion, but I did vote for the motion.
Okay. So it was 6-1 was the vote? Okay. Alrighty.
So, Your Honor, you'll declare that carried then?
Carried, sorry, yes, yeah, carried.
I think Jody had a comment.
I was watching the meeting yesterday, and every time someone moves it, it's loud when you're watching. So I apologize to the viewers. Thank you. I was going to suggest you could make a second motion that we bring back some more information about our Urban Hen program to all of council, if I understood the comment correctly. In addition to a plan for an open house, if council's amenable to that, we could also bring that forward at the same time to provide that information.
So Jody, just so I'm clear, so it becomes a second motion
Yep.
to just
Provide further information, yep.
I move that administration bring back to council additional information with regard to the Urban Hen program for review and decision.
Any questions? All those in favor of that motion? So carried unanimous. Okay, 10.3, policing priorities.
Thank you, Mayor Henderson. So it's that time of year again to bring forward council's input to the RCMP for their 2026-2027 policing priorities. So this RFD is just giving you some background information on what you may consider for putting forward for priorities, including you may want to include some potential focus areas under each heading. So in last year's, for 2025-2026, council approved crime reduction, community engagement, and traffic safety. So the options for consideration, council may choose to approve the same priorities, including those three topics again, with or without specific focus areas within each priority. So for example, when I'm saying focus areas, you might want to consider under traffic safety if school bus safety is something you'd like to prioritize, or speeding, something like that. Just anything related to that topic. Under community engagement, you might want to specify things like coffee with a cop sessions, or I hear there's a new youth program now, Pop with a Cop, I think it's called, that's out there. And so there's a couple specific suggestions. And then, of course, crime prevention, there's probably several ideas you might have, particularly in relation to the sergeant's presentation this evening with what some of the trends are that and statistics that they provided in the community. And council can also choose to adopt a revised priority list or suggest a different approach to better address emerging trends and community safety needs in the upcoming year. So essentially that means anything that you would like to put forward as a priority to the RCMP. One of the examples I found online was neighborhood safety in terms of promoting community cohesiveness and connectedness through block parties and things like that. So that might be one of the objectives, and you could put forward as a priority under, again, related to community engagement, but also helping the having the RCMP support those kind of initiatives in the community. So just some thoughts for consideration.
Excellent, thank you. I myself had, I had taken some time and some of this a duplicate, I had crime prevention and community safety. And then I'd written down traffic safety with an underlying focus on impaired driving and speeding. And then, of course, visibility was also a third priority as well, being visible in the community. Any other input from anybody? Any thoughts on priorities? Do we want to maintain the ones that are existing priority? Do we want to add to it? Councillor Brack?
I like the visibility idea. I think that's one where we can definitely improve on. I think with the visibility will also help with the crime prevention. One of the other things is if we can, I guess Jody had mentioned it with that, with the youth group doing that pop with a cop, but if we could actually have not so much the coffee with a cop, but if we could almost have them like kind of wander around and introduce themselves to random people or get to know the business owners. I think that'd be helpful.
Yeah, for sure. I think that you go part with the community policing aspect of it, for them when they're in town here. And that's kind of what I made the comment when he was here about when they're doing if they have downtime, which they typically don't have a lots of, but when they're doing their reports and stuff in their cars, to park in town here where the businesses can see them and they can go into the odd business and say hello and that kind of thing. Councillor Longstaff?
Yeah, as with much of the community, I'm pretty sure, crime prevention is on top of that list. With traffic safety, even from my own window at home in the morning, I can actually see vehicles passing school buses with their lights flashing. And that's obviously not a safe thing, especially for the kids that are crossing and getting onto the buses. And community engagement, I know they're understaffed in all areas, just like everybody else is, but I do see them around town quite a bit, which is actually pretty good.
So would you like us to kind of give you some of our tops and then you guys can pick from there? Or do you want us to kind of specify, we were looking, visibility seems to be a popular one out there, and then traffic safety, it sounds like the, enforcement in town here, not just on the highway and that kind of thing, right, for traffic safety?
Your Honor, if you'd like, I could read back the notes that I just took.
Okay,
based on
if you
what
don't mind,
council-
sure, that'd be great.
No. So that policing priorities for the RCMP detachment be crime prevention, including visibility, community engagement, such as Pop with a Cop, engagement with business owners, and traffic safety, impaired driving, speeding, and school bus safety.
Perfect, yeah, no, that's good. Okay, I need a motion to indicate such. Councillor Longstaff?
I'd like to make a motion that council approve the 2026-2027 policing priorities for the RCMP detachment as follows: crime prevention, community engagement, and traffic safety.
That would include the identified sub-areas?
Yes.
Including the identified sub-areas. Any further questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? So carried, unanimous. Gibbons Youth Center, 10.4.
Mr. Mayor, literally as a SAO, you get dozens of pieces of paper that go on your desk each and every day almost. And one came across my desk last week, and it made me take a bit of a second take as I looked at it and realized how much commitment this community has to its youth center. So I thought, when I talked to Chris about this, we had a conversation, I thought this would be something worthy of bringing forward. The town's been through a lot over the last year or so, and we thought this is a bit of a highlight of some great commitment of this of the residents of this town to this community, and we just want to bring it forward for council's understanding, review, and maybe a bit of a discussion, and also to highlight to the community that there's a lot of people that are very committed to this town, and again, people that are really willing to donate to the town, and so this is what keeps our youth center going. And again, as we work through again the financial challenges that you're aware that we have, I think this is a really good example of the commitment that the residents have to this town to keep the youth center going as well. So I just want to bring it forward to you for information and your comments. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. And from what I can say, because I was one of the fellows that helped out with the bottle drive that they had here. And initially, when I reached out to the center, there was they only had one other vehicle and my truck. But when we showed up on Saturday to do the the actual drive itself, four other people showed up from out of nowhere. So that goes to show you the commitment that is for here. And the amount of time and the stuff, when we got back from the bottle drive, a lady showed up with a minivan full of groceries. She just went grocery shopping and bought a bunch of groceries, which is just absolutely phenomenal to see, right, in a small community like this. So, yeah, I get it. It's, lots of people are passionate about it for sure, and the kids are really good too. All the ones that come out, I think there was 23 or 24 of them that came out on the bottle drive as well, right? So, yeah, it was great. Any other comments? Councillor Longstaff?
Okay, this will be the last time I comment tonight, I think. Anyway, I'd just like to say it does warm my heart to see the community so involved, and the pride that they have in everything, especially at this point where we're suffering a lot of financial challenges. It's really good to see.
And special thanks to Councillor St. Germain for all her baking goods that she dropped off. Yes, go ahead.
I'm just really proud of our community, and the way that everybody has banded together. They were short some money, and everybody was chipping in money to help the youth center achieve their goal. Everybody's stepping up and for the bottle drive. It's an amazing program, and she does a lot with a little. So any help she gets, she's so grateful for.
Excellent, thanks. Anybody else? Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept his information.
All those in favor? So carried, unanimous. Section 11, bylaws and policy, short-term borrowing bylaw. Alt 1-26.
Mr. Mayor. So I'll go through a little bit of detail on this specifically because we are recommending some changes on this one. What we had encountered previously with the short-term borrowing bylaws is there was one operating line borrowing bylaw for $1 million, and then a second operating line borrowing bylaw that referenced a capital line of credit. So capital line of credits are actually not allowed under the MGA and in municipal government. In essence, they are an operating line of credit. We use an operating line of credit for capital purposes if we're funding or pre-funding some of the work that's being done that, for example, is grant funded and we haven't received the grant funding for. So that's the reason why we've consolidated it into one bylaw, because both the existing lines of credit are the same for the same purpose in the end. So that's sort of the history around it. One of the notes as well is that this was brought up in the legislative compliance review. So while we waited for it to get close to its expiry time to renew it, this is our chance to fix it and make it correct moving forward. Our recommendation at this point, just based on the fact that we have a March 31st expiry date, is to do all three readings within the same meeting. So if there's any questions or anything, feel free.
No, and you answered the really only question I have that, excuse me, we're going from 2 to 1 basically is what we're doing, and we're streamlining it, putting it all under, for 2 bylaws into 1, that's correct, yeah. Any other questions on that? So I need a motion to, Councilor Morrison?
Just a statement for clarity. It's 2 bylaws into 1. There's no increase in the amount of the borrowing. It stays static. So literally administrative action.
That's correct.
Okay, I need a motion that, to be total of 3 separate motions.
Sorry, it's actually 4 separate motions. So there'll be the 2 readings, unanimous consent to go to 3rd reading, and then 3rd reading.
Okay. So, can I get the first motion, please? Councillor Longstaff.
I'd like to motion that we give first reading to the short-term borrowing bylaw, Alt 126.
Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried unanimous. move on to the second reading. Any debate on that one? Anybody got anything? They've been through it? No questions or concerns? Counselor Saint Germain.
I just have a question of what the interest rate is on.
I didn't change the interest rate from the previous bylaws. It's just based on services prime rate. I believe it's less 0.25 or it's plus 0.25, one of the two. It's noted in the bylaw. I'd have to take a peek here. I just
Sorry, I
lost
was
my
looking for it madly and I couldn't find it.
prime rate less 0.25%.
And that's the same rate?
Correct. Yeah. There's no change to the actual credit line. Technically, these credit lines maintain, but we have to maintain the bylaw to keep them established.
Thank you.
Okay, seeing no further questions, can I get a motion for the second reading, please? Anybody? Counselor Longstaff?
I move second reading of the short-term borrowing bylaw ALT 1-26.
Any further questions? All those in favor? Carried unanimous. And I need a motion that we agree to move to third reading,
It's a motion to hold third reading,
the
Your
whole
Honor.
third reading, yeah. Counselor Smonowitz,
I so move that we move to third reading of the short-term borrowing bylaw, alt 126-126.
all those in favor? So carried, unanimous. A little slow there, Counselor Barak. All right, third reading. Any further questions? I guess, seeing none, can I get a motion for the third reading, please?
I'll make,
Counselor Saint Germain.
I'll make a motion for the third reading of short-term borrowing bylaw ALT 1-26.
Any further questions before we go to the final vote? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried unanimous. Staffing reports. Who's, Lafayette One Administration, yes.
Thank you. I can present this for Community Services and the other staff today. And I'll do my best to answer questions. If we can't answer them tonight, we'll certainly get back to you with those answers. So starting with Community Services, the Gibbons Family Resource Center update. So once again, the voices of Albertans with disabilities will be at the Gibbons Family Resource Center to provide support and information related to various programs and to provide assistance with completing the forms for those benefit programs, as well as to answer questions about the ADAP program launching in July. So they will be out on March 19th, April 2nd, and April 16th. And I think I said benefit programs, there's provincial support programs. And the VAD will also be hosting a free tax clinic at the GFRC on March 26th for individuals that are eligible for that program. I will say that's an extremely important program, and I'm glad we were able to offer it at no cost this year to the community. It helps people to access their benefits by being able to submit their income tax, their annual income tax. So kudos to the FCSS team for being able to make that happen. Also in partnership with Sturgeon County, they're offering the Rain Barrel program once again. Or they're also partnering with the Primary Care Network to offer a 6-week registered chronic pain workshop. And there's a number of workshops that will be offered. I won't go through each of them, but the report is available on the website if you're interested in that. I did meet the behavioral consultant from the Primary Care Network today while I was visiting the FCSS office. She is there on Tuesdays, providing access to wellness services through the PCN. The GFRC is also proud to offer a formal wear program for graduates, so there's free access to grad dresses and suits. We are coming into that time of year, and I would say that there are some very nice outfits there if anyone wants to go down and check that out, and certainly very nice of the community to donate that and make that possible. There's quite a bit of information about the youth center as well, more statistics for February and March. So for February, they had 332 visits. 50% of the days either were at or over capacity. 40% of attendees are from out of town, so from Bon Accord, Sturgeon County, and Thorhild. 9 volunteers donated 19 volunteer hours. They were open 18 days, 3 of which were extreme cold, and 1 had no buses running, and so that was useful to have the facility open that day. Partnered with the Gibbons Library to offer a free PD event, and in March, grant funds went to purchase 2 tables from Sturgeon Comp High School Welding and Fabrication Shop, and I believe that's part of the Soaring project, the new outdoor area that the youth have helped design and create. 6 Mile Murals will be painting a mural in a paint-by-number stencil that will allow the youth to contribute and participate in the process, and they're waiting on quotes for that, and the cost is $1,500, but it's to be paid by leftover grant dollars and funds that were actually raised by the youth center. So I think that's important to point out. It's not a cost to the town, it's been grant funded and fundraised for those dollars. 100 feet of permanent outdoor lighting have been purchased, hosted also with the same paid by fundraised dollars. They hosted, as Mayor Henderson pointed out earlier, a bottle drive on March 14th, which was very successful in that they were able to raise $207.55 in cash donations. The Soaring grant project has received $2,100, so $2,187.55 to be exact. I have the finance guy next to me, so I have to be careful. In donations to date, extra money earned will go towards having the Sturgeon Comp High School welding class make an outdoor garbage can, buying perennial plants to have the youth plant in flower beds at the youth center to encourage them to take better care of the area, sports equipment to use in their new space. We partnered with the FCSS group, the Youth Center, partnered with the Gibbons Library to have a Youth Edmonton Foundation provide a $3,000 grant to further support this project, and they received a $5,000 grant from the $5,000 grant from the Rural Mental Health in partnership with the library. The grant will support the baking program with $1,500 for equipment and $3,500 for ingredients for a week. I think it's every week it's supposed to read recipes for the year. So again, just another key partnership in the community with the library board, and I was at the library board meeting. I was fortunate to meet that group of volunteers a few weeks ago and passed on our personal thanks for their efforts in putting that grant together and providing that support to the youth center. We had a meeting with, there's me actually. They said they had a meeting with the interim assistant CAO, being me, and Kickstand from Fort Saskatchewan to help bring free mental health counseling to youth in Gibbons. That's not something we think can happen immediately, but we have had some discussions with that organization about what kind of services they might be able to offer in the future. Of course, it would be free to the community. It's just a matter of how that organization is able to provide the service outside of Fort Saskatchewan where they're located. So there's a little bit more work to do there. Collaborating with Gibbons School to have a family dance on June 5th, and I believe council is invited to help volunteer for that event. It is a fundraiser, and so more information will come out as we get closer to the date, and we did authorize the use of the Cultural Center for free for that event. And let's see, offered, I think this is in here again, about the free professional development day, offered a cost recovery babysitting safety course, free youth Women's Day event with donated hours and supplies from volunteers. And I understand that was a huge success and very well attended. Also, the youth coordinator will be taking a free 3.5-hour emotional first aid course from St. John's Ambulance. One of the team found a free option for training for staff and very valuable training to have. So moving on from that to corporate services, Ryan can do that.
Yes, thank you. So, couple quick highlights. Obviously, we had an awesome Monday evening meeting for budget, so that's probably been, I would say, between 90 to 95% of the workload for the finance and corporate services group specifically. We also had an audit kickoff meeting and start of documentation prep. That was another big piece. One thing that was brought up that I hadn't had a chance to get into too heavily was the process for tax agreements that were currently ongoing. There are issues in how they were previously done, so I'll be reviewing those and addressing them as I can. There are going to be some items that I have to bring to council for discussion, specifically around penalties, which administration cannot actually void without council approval as they're levied by bylaw. So we'll talk about that. Assessments have been uploaded into the system, and I believe Cindy sent out the assessment notices, so that's taken care of. And then municipal affairs monthly reporting and the loans to local authorities refinance that we've talked about numerous times now. We're hoping to wrap that up and get the documentation in order.
Councilor Morrison, you have a question?
I don't have a question, I have a statement. With regard to the audit kickoff, I want public record to note that the selection of auditor was actually not agreed to by council. Council actually didn't agree to that auditor. I understand that the AO overturned that decision, and the firm that is completing our audit, the process has already begun, the work has begun, but I want it on record that this council did not agree to the audit.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'll carry on with Public Works, and I apologize, I didn't turn my mic off, so hopefully it wasn't too, I wasn't causing noise there while Ryan was speaking. So Public Works, so water changeouts, I believe that was on here last month. They're continuing to work on that process. The appointments are being made with residents as time permits. That's a process that most, well not most, but often municipalities will undertake to ensure that the same type of meter is in all the homes across the community, and then it simplifies things in terms of the type of devices they use to read the meters, and also where they can get repairs and things like that. It becomes one streamlined process. So I believe that's what they're working on. Equipment maintenance on Mondays as required. They are continuing, as we can all see, the freeze thaw that's carrying on regularly. The team is working on that. There was some repair needed to the equipment for that, which I understand is called a hot seat, and so it was repaired and is back in service, and they are continuing to work on that. I have asked the team to continue to put public notices out on the areas that they're working on specifically each week, so residents can know where they'll be working to address some of those drainage issues with the melting ice and the not melting ice that keeps refreezing and causing the blockages. So they are continuing to working on that. And I think that I can't think of anything else with Public Works unless, oh, Tim stepped out. So I think that's all for Public Works at the moment. Planning and Development. So Bram Molar, as we mentioned, is training as backup for Planning and Development Officer while Susan Gringle is away. And he has been managing quite a bit of public inquiries with 10 coming in surrounding interpretation of the land use bylaw in the last month. Development permits issued, 2 permits, basement conversion to the secretary suite, a minor side yard variance. compliance certificate was issued for a new family residential development. We applied for retroactive inspection of the GFRC basement stairs renovation from 2023, and managing an accessory building dispute involving potential encroachment is all being handled by Bram through Tim and myself this month. The fire department county calls, there were 50, town calls 42, members 23. And again, there aren't really any additional project updates that is different from last month. The washroom facility has been delivered and installed, and I found out just this week that there's only one remaining step with that unit. There's an electrical permit and inspection that needs to take place, which couldn't happen until the snow's gone. So hopefully that'll be completed soon. And again, there's a vacancy at Heartland Station. And I think that concludes the report.
Excellent, thank you. Lots of information there for sure. Question? Yeah. Council Morrison?
I'm sorry, forgive my ignorance. Perhaps I've misunderstood. I thought we were putting a pause on water meter replacements.
Through Mr. Mayor, what we need is gets clear direction on the budget passed. And so we're recommending that all water meter replacements be ended. But we need, again, the budget to be passed to basically get council direction to end that program.
Any other questions? Councillor Breck?
In regards to Memorial Park, I believe that we were talking about, was there any grants that need to be repaid on that, or are we good with that grant funding there? What's the story on that one?
A very, very good question. So as of right now, all the work is completed outside of some electrical connections and permitting. So the project is substantially complete, but until we get the final cost put in, we can't finalize the reporting. The other side of that piece is the review engagement for that's required for the grant reporting needs to be done as well. So that's scheduled to happen in April. The actual grant reporting is not done until May 31st. What I will say is if there's money to be repaid, we currently have money in that grant account that we've held on to in the event that we didn't spend the full grant match of $1.4 million. So the original grant was, I believe, $710,000. So we were required to spend $710 in order to utilize all those funds. But if we don't, if the project doesn't come to that total, we do have the funds in an account to return to the province should the reporting show that we need to return some funding.
Any further questions on the report? Seeing none, can I get a motion? Council Morrison?
I move we accept the administration report as presented,
His information.
as information.
All those in favor? So carried, unanimous. Okay, committee reports. Mr. Hamel?
Through Mr. Mayor, I received a call from the official administrator, Harold Strondrus, and he wanted to bring up a point of clarification. It's his opinion that council did not pass a resolution not appointing metrics, that during the organizational meeting, we did appoint the auditor, and that was metrics, and that at this time, it is his stance that there was never a resolution of council saying that that was not the direction to go forward. So I just want to bring that up, and I discussed that with our legislative officer. There is a bit of a maybe some confusion around this, but that is basically the comments from Harold. And again, there is no official resolution that said specifically that we were not to hire the current auditor.
Okay, thank you. I thought it was a discussion. We were advised against it, I think.
I just want to caution council
Yeah,
that discussion, there
right
was
on.
discussion
Yeah.
held in closed session,
Yeah.
and so it has to remain in closed session. Thank you.
You could
Thank
may-
Mr.
maybe-
Johnsrud for his comments.
Okay, and through Mr. Mayor, Chris, could you maybe explain procedurally, like, what occurred?
Council had a discussion in closed session surrounding the auditor and what to do with said auditor, and the decision coming, there was no decision coming out of closed session to move on to an RFP process or anything like that. So whatever discussion, unfortunately, whatever discussion happened in closed session has to stay there. So as being as vague as I can to say, council did not come out of closed session to make a motion that they go into an RFP process to look for another auditor.
My point's been made.
Councillor Breck?
Disappointed in our OA because that's not what we discussed. I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Councillor St. Germain?
I'd just like to say I concur with Councillor Brack and Councillor Morrison on their points.
Alrighty. Oh, Councillor Curry?
Yeah, I just want to reiterate that as well. Councillor Burak and Councillor Morrison and Councillor St. Germain's comments, I want to back that up for the public record.
Excellent, thank you.
One more.
Long Councillor
Yeah,
Stuff?
yeah, I'm in the same boat. I concur with the rest of councillors that have mentioned this.
Okay, thank you. Okay, 13.0 committee reports. Councillor St. Germain, you want us to start us off?
Yes, my committee reports are being pulled up right now. March 11th, I attended Sturgeon School Division open house, and then I very carefully raced to the town hall with municipal affairs. That's all I had this week.
Councillor Longstaff?
Yeah, I didn't have any of my committee meetings in since the last council meeting, and I did attend the viability review on the 11th.
Excellent, thank you. Councillor Morrison?
My committee report includes also the previous council meeting, as I was absent with regrets. On the 27th of February, regular meeting of Edmonton Salutes Committee. On the 27th of February, the Alberta Munis webinar on the report of Alberta's budget, On the 8th of March, I threw the ceremonial rock at the Gibbons Curling Men's Bonspiel. On the 10th of March, Edmonton Salutes Budget and Funding Subcommittee meeting. On the 11th of March, Women in Leadership, Breaking Barriers and Building Support through FCM. On the 11th of March, the Municipal Affairs Viability Open House. And on the 19th of March, the Federal and Provincial Relationship Town Hall in Redwater with Member of Parliament Michael Cooper and MLA Dale Nally.
Excellent, thank you. Councillor Curry?
Yeah, on Friday, this past Friday, the 20th, right? 20th, that'll do. Had attended my Aerial Utilities Board Committee meeting, and we basically just discussed some budget items, some policy, and our workshop coming up for the end of May. And then on Sunday, myself and a whole bunch of others went to Sherwood Park and brought home this baby.
Thank you. Councillor Brack?
March 11th, we did, with Councillor St. Germain, we did the meet and greet with the Sturgeon Public School. And then, again, raced to Gibbons Cultural Center for the Municipal Affairs presentation to the public.
Excellent, thank you. Councillor Simonowitz?
Attended the viability review on the 11th, and on the 12th, I attended the Rose Ridge Commission meeting. Just a few pointers on Rose Ridge. That's our landfill, close, as you're I think it's 642, towards Morinville, as our landfill site. Currently, the board is in the middle of their 10-year review, a 10-year plan, so it's about halfway through. So the strategic planning, we have appointed an auditor, not the same one as here. Regional Waste Initiative is being looked at on April 11th. There's a big, April 9th, sorry, there's a big meeting for the whole area. And different aspects of landfill will be discussed. Landfill is going in a different direction. It's going into basically of recycling of materials rather than just dumping everything in the ground and covering it up. So at the end of the day, there should be not much left. Composting is big. I think Gibbons was supposed to have been involved in that already in the past, but hasn't started yet. So that's another big component. But you know, they are very, and that's affecting the viability of the landfill site. Also, the government regulations have increased, like in regards to methane, and you can't just you have to cover it for 10 years and protect it from methane developing, and so it's becoming very costly to do the landfill kind of thing. So recycling is kind of the key word, so I think more will be coming out of that. And just some stats that they provided, that 80% of the traffic at the landfill is people are bringing stuff in their own pickups and cars, which is kind of interesting. They have a recycling center there now. People are bringing things in, and even plastics are recycled in many different categories. It's not just plastics. So that's it on Rose Ridge. So more information to come. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. And for myself, on the 11th, much like the rest of my councilors, attended the viability review here in town. On the 13th, attended the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee meeting. Interesting meeting. There's lots of work coming in Sturgeon County. First off, the Morinville at Highway 2 and the Cardiff Road, it sounds like there's a flyover bridge going in there so they can get rid of the lights, make it a little safer for getting in and out of Morinville. The twinning of Highway 28 from just from the Anthony Henday to just east of Bonaccord is due to start. They're just going through the engineering process on that right now. It's due to start soon, from what I hear. And the from the town here to Heartland Station, they've agreed to a speed reduction. So I think right now the signs, it goes 80, 180, traveling north and coming south. It's 80, 180 going south. It's going to be 80 constant from the town to the Heartland Station. And they're just waiting for the Transportation Commissioner to send that letter to authorize that change, to get the signs changed out. And that is it. Alrighty. Anybody else? We're all good? I'm going to call a 10-minute recess before we go into close.
Before you do that, Mr. Mayor,
Oh, correspondence.
no, before you do that, you have to have a motion to accept the
Accept,
committee
okay, right.
reports.
Can I get a motion? Councillor Longstaff?
I'd like to motion that we accept the council reports, committee reports as information.
All those in favor? So carried, unanimous. And then from correspondence, we did receive a letter from the Minister of Education authorizing our property tax, education property tax deferral. Correct? Yeah. All right, I'm going to call a recess before we get into closed session for 10 minutes.
Before you do that, Mr. Mayor, you have to accept the correspondence.
Okay. Can I get a motion that we accept the correspondence as information from the education?
I'll move that motion.
All those in favor? So carried unanimous. And call a recess at 2014 for 10 minutes before we enter closed session.
morphing over here a lot of the time.
I know, right? I need a motion for us to move into closed session with regards to intergovernmental discussions under the sections listed and personnel under the sections listed.
I will move to go into closed session for, holy doodle, where are we at? 16.1 for section 26, section 28, section 29, and section 30. For 16.2, under personnel, for access to information, sections 20, sections 29, and section 32.
Next, Council DeHamel.
Through Mr. Mayor, there's,
Sorry, I promoted you. Mr. DeHamel.
Council, so just as a reminder, to add this 16.3 to the agenda, it'll need to be added first, and then the agenda has to be voted on again as amended.
Okay. Okay,
So then Mr. DeHamel asks that 16.3,
be added to the agenda.
third-party
Contract.
contracts.
Under section,
Hold on, just grab that for you. That is the business interest of a third party, which falls under section 19.
okay,
And local body confidences under 28.
28, thank you.
Can I not just add that to my, because we haven't voted on the motion yet. I really hadn't even finished talking about it. Can we just add that?
It'll have to be added to the agenda first.
Okay.
So no.
I was very politely saying no.
Okay, can we get somebody to make a motion to add 16.3 to the agenda, please? Councillor Longstaff.
I'd like to put an addition to the agenda at 16.3 under third-party contracts, sections 19 and 28.
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
That's not a motion, Your Honor. That's just adding it to the agenda. You now need a motion to accept the agenda as amended.
Councillor Curry.
I will make that motion to accept the agenda as amended.
Just for clarity, we're accepting the agenda as amended. All those in favor? So carried unanimous.
Now you need that motion to go into closed.
That's correct, yes. Could I get a motion for us to go into closed session, please?
I will make the motion for Councillor Morrison to make the motion to go into closed session.
You're my favorite.
We're not gonna treat that as a motion, because there's nothing legislatively in that.
Oh, yes, there is.
No legislation there, not in the MGA, the current legislation, Council.
I move that we go into closed session for 16.1 under sections S26, or section 26, 28, 29, and 30 of the Access to Information Act for a personnel issue. 16.2 under the Access to Information Act, sections 20, 29, and 32, and 16.3 third-party contract under Access to Information Act, Sections 19 and 28.
Thank you. All those in favor? So carried unanimous.
Now you're gonna pause for a second while we turn off our light, while we turn off the mics for our live stream.
Okay. I can hear you fine. Can you hear me? Good. Okay. I'll mute. Good evening, and fortunately, my internet got back up and running. It wasn't my intention to have this item on the agenda. There's a report that is presently being handed out, which I sent to administration during the break. I'm not sure how you would like me to approach it. The report is, I guess, first of all, the reason why this is in the closed session on this day is resulting from the motion that came in the public meeting regarding going on record, which stated some false information. And so there was the motion coming out of closed session on January the 27th, and that's referred to in the first paragraph. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, the report I prepared back on February the 4th, and so it's been around for a while, but this item never did come back to the council table for me to deliver it. I'm going to read the situation summary, and then starting with background, it goes for the next 3 pages with information supporting the summary. So reading the situation summary, the current Town of Gibbons Council wants to rescind a motion this council made appointing Metrics Group LLP to be the town's auditor of the 25 financial statements and appoint a different auditor. Presumably, this change of mind results from a financial statement review report prepared by the town consultants Bloom CME. These discussions have been conducted in closed sessions of council meetings, at which time the official administrator has stated that such decisions would not be supported by the official administrator. There have been no specific resolutions by council to date other than to defer the decision to a later date. The official administrator's desire to continue with the current auditor of Metrics Group is based on the following reasons. The town has access to professional financial expertise to provide oversight to the 2025 audit. The rationale for changing auditors may be unfounded because town management is responsible for information provided to the auditor, including assessing whether the town is sustainable, i.e., a going concern. Expenses have already been incurred by the town regarding the 25 audit, and breaking the contract will probably result in additional costs. Appointing a different auditor will result in duplication of costs and additional expenses for a decision that is considered not necessary by the OA, whose mandate is to reduce unnecessary expenses. Changing auditors at this time will result in a significant delay in providing the final 2025 financial statements to the town. The decision to continue with the current auditor is in the best interests of the town residents. So that's the summary. If you would like me to go through the whole report and read it to you, that's fine. I normally don't read reports, but if you'd like me to do that, I'm fine with that. What would you like? Okay, so starting with the background on page 1, Metrics Group, CPA, was the auditor of the 24 financial statements of the town of Gibbons and has been the town's auditor for at least since 2020. Metrics was appointed by the current town council to be their auditor of the 25 financial statements at the organizational meeting of the current council held on October 30th, 2025. The motion stated is Councillor Simonowitz moved that council appoint Metrics Group LLP as the municipal auditor for the 2025 financial audit, motion 25.416, which was carried. The 2024 financial statements were filed on time. The deadline is May 1st of the following year, which was not always the case. 2022 and 2023 were not filed until October and November, respectively. Note, normal delays are not the fault of the auditor. Town administration and the previous town council held a meeting with the public on August 21st, 2025. The poor financial position of the town was one of the meeting topics. The unrestricted financial position of the town decreased from a 2023 surplus position of 4.2 million to a 2024 deficit of 300,000, a decrease of 4.5 million. Subsequent to the August 25 meeting with the public, 2 chartered professional accountants, CPAs, have reviewed the 24 financial statements. Bloom CME contracted and the provincial official administrator. These reviews have raised several questions regarding the 24 and prior year financial statements. The OA appointment is under governing legislation and also additional OA contract specifics related to the situation of the appointment. The legislation includes the clause, quote, no bylaw or resolution that authorizes the municipality to incur a liability or dispose of its money or property has any effect until the bylaw or resolution has been approved in writing by the OA. Also, the theme of the OA's contract with Alberta Municipal Affairs is to monitor the town's decisions to ensure that such decisions reduce the cash liability position and a decrease in expenses. The current town council and administration want to rescind the decision to appoint Metrics as auditor of the 2025 financial statements and appoint a different auditor to conduct the 2025 audit. The OA response: the OA has informed council and administration in a closed session of council that a decision to replace Metrics as the audit firm for the 25 financial statements will not be approved by the OA. This decision is considered by the OA to be in the best interest of the town residents. So the rationale for my response. The main focus of the towns need to be reducing the cash going out the door, even if there are external funding sources for such expenses. Changing auditors at this time is not a good business decision, even if the organization was in a good cash position. Therefore, for the OA to allow the decision to change the 25 auditor would contravene the OA's mandate under legislation and the theme of the current OA appointment to the town. It is not a necessary expense. The reasons to continue with Metrics for the 25 audit are: number 1, there is professional financial expertise available to the town during the 25 audit process. The Bloom Consultant, OA, and Municipal Affairs have identified areas to discuss with the auditor regarding the 24 and possible prior year's financial statements. Bloom and the OA have the expertise to conduct these discussions, including 2025. I believe that a municipal audit would have different criteria than an audit of a private corporation. The specific criteria would be the Municipal Government Act and, for example, the recording restrictions regarding grants received but not expended. Unfortunately, upon research, guidelines are not provided to municipal auditors to this effect. Therefore, whereas there are flaws identified in how the town administration has recorded financial transactions as a municipal entity, the financial position reported in the financial statements would remain unchanged. The presently available financial expertise is knowledgeable regarding municipal requirements. Reason number 2. Management is responsible for the financial records and information provided to the auditor. The following statement is in the audit report regarding this responsibility. Quote, responsibilities of management and those charged with governance for the financial statements. Management is responsible for the preparation and fair presentation of the financial statements in accordance with the Canadian Public Sector Accounting Standards and for such internal control as management determines is necessary to enable the preparation of financial statements that are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error. In preparing the financial statements, management is responsible for assessing the town's ability to continue as a going concern, disclosing, as applicable, matters relating to going concern, and using the going concern basis of accounting unless management either intends to liquidate the town or to cease operations, or has no realistic alternative to do so. Those charged with governance, council, are responsible for overseeing the town's financial reporting process. The financial statements also include this statement from town administration, which was signed by the Chief Administrative Officer Eric Lowe and Director of Corporate Services Monique Jeffrey. Quote, the integrity relevance, and comparability of the data in the accompanying financial statements are the responsibility of management. The financial statements are prepared by management in accordance with Canadian public sector accounting standards. They necessarily include some amounts that are based on the best estimates and judgments of management. To assist in its responsibility, management maintains accounting, budget, and other controls to provide reasonable assurance that transactions are appropriately authorized, that assets are properly accounted for and safeguarded, and that financial records are reliable for preparation of financial statements. As a result of the above statements, it is reasonable to conclude that the financial statements are accurate, but has the information provided to the auditor by management been accurate? Having stated this, there are questions regarding current and long-term assets and liabilities. Point number 3. Is addressing a going concern situation a requirement of the auditor? The audit report specifically states that it is management's responsibility in assessing going concern. There is an account receivable of $4.5 million, which did not change from 2023 to 2024. Yet at the August 2025 public meeting, there was a lengthy dissertation by the town's finance staff member to a question regarding the town's financial health. It's on page 7 of that lengthy narrative of that August meeting. Whether as OA I agree with the statement is irrelevant. What is relevant is that this may be the information provided to Metrics when conducting the 2024 audit. Financial condition of a municipality is important. A statement of recommended practices regarding indicators of government financial condition was prepared by the Public Sector Accounting Board in 2008. The 3 elements of financial condition are sustainability, flexibility, and vulnerability. I have noted the importance of reviewing these elements during budget development in presentations to municipalities, and while not mandatory, some audit firms provide related information during financial statement presentations. But the key point is that financial condition awareness is the responsibility of management. Number 4, 2025 audit fees paid to date and future cost. Metrics has been paid $6,500 to date regarding the 2025 financial statements audit. This would be for their preliminary field work. There may also be a cost to break the contract. And number 5, the impact of changing the 2025 auditor. The timing of receiving the 2025 audited financial statements will be significantly delayed if the audit firm is changed for the 2025 financial statements audit. Several factors impacting the delay are: the spring is a very busy time for audit firms, therefore even responding to a request for proposal may need to be delayed. A non-biased RFP process needs to be carefully followed. There will be initially increased time by a new audit firm, similar to all new audits, to evaluate internal controls with their own criteria, review the financial history of assets and liabilities. Note, Bloom has also performed this review, resulting in the financial statement review report dated November 2025. Assuming the audit starts in June, a projected completion date with finalized financial statements would be approximately October of 2026. So that's the document that I prepared back shortly after the June 27th meeting, at which time in the closed session, a councillor requested that I prepare such a report. And so this is the report. As I mentioned, people were aware, administration as well as municipal affairs. This report has been vetted by municipal affairs. We're aware of this report, and at the time, as time went on, I was wondering whether or not it would even get any airtime at all, but I guess this is the evening. My suggestion, my comments continue to remain the same, is that I would not support changing the auditor. And now that there's on public record making a state saying that I had vetoed a decision of council, which is my understanding of the motion. I'm requesting that after we go out of this closed session, that statement be rescinded. It can stay in the minutes, but that it be subsequently identified that that statement was not appropriate. And so I'll leave it at that. I'll entertain questions or comments. I would like to make a further, oh, sorry, I'll let someone else go ahead. I want to make a comment is that I always look at challenges or try to look at challenges as opportunities. And I also have used the phrase several times, even for my own personal situation, that experience is a good teacher. And I'm pleased to hear that, going back to a statement that I made in this report, that there really aren't any directions or guidelines provided for auditors of municipalities. Municipal Affairs is looking into that. And I strongly feel, and as I think I've mentioned to you before, that when I was Director of Finance for a county, as well as CAO, the county was fortunate to have an audit firm that was well aware of the Municipal Government Act. We didn't ever run into situations that contravened the act, but I feel that there are specifics in a municipal audit that should be addressed that would not necessarily be, it would be over and above or in addition to what an audit of a public corporation or a private corporation may be. And so I'm hopeful that there will be some things coming from this unfortunate situation that the town of Gibbons is to help improve the responsibilities, the financial responsibilities of different stakeholders going forward. So I have no problem at all with this document being a public document. Mm-hmm. It does. And you chose an auditor in your organizational meeting in 2025. Yeah. Well, I would caution you a little bit on that statement, because in reviewing the August public meeting record, which was before the election, there was reference to the financial difficulties that the municipality was in. And so going into a motion of the auditor, though, it would probably, I don't know, but it probably was a recommendation from administration to continue with the current auditor. And so I understand all of you brand new to the council table. Your first meeting is an organizational meeting. You're faced with appointment of an auditor. I understand. I understand that you would follow with what was the norm. This is a unique situation, and subsequently, and I even mentioned it in my first paragraph that you decided that you wanted to change auditors after you made that initial decision. I believe I have the proper rationale to not support changing auditors because the way I have read the discussion is that there is a blame game going on that includes several professionals or stakeholders, but the auditors are part of that grouping. But as I indicate in my report, a lot of the information that is presented to an auditor is management's responsibility. Now, the auditor is going to make sure that there are sufficient internal controls. For example, the check listing that you get a copy of. There's procedures that are followed by the town, and the auditor reviews them to make sure that expenses are properly authorized. I do appreciate Ryan's comment earlier this evening, where check listing is not the norm. In presenting it, having it on the council agenda, it's often in the councilor's trays or in the councilor's lounge if there's one. And what needs to be is regular financial reporting comparing the month-to-date actuals with the budget and the variances, and administration has the responsibility in identifying the significant plus or minus variances. And so there's those kind of responsibilities. Well, when Ryan and I had a virtual meeting with the auditor, Ryan and I had met prior and identified questions that we wanted the auditor to address. And I appreciate Ryan providing those questions to the auditor, who replied with responses prior to our virtual meeting. And so we had something already to address. And we have identified specific things that we want to see to happen in the audit, more, not so much in the audit, but in the financial statements. And not changing the financial data, which would probably be very correct, but making some enhancements to the financial statement and identifying some things to include in the financial statement that would have been management's responsibility to provide to the auditor. And so when we had that virtual meeting, I was cautious in not being too let me put it this way, that my criticisms were done in a fairly soft tone, because I did not want the auditor to step away and say, okay, we're done here, and break the contract. Because I feel that would be to the detriment of the town currently. Should you do an RFP for a new auditor for 2026 financial statements? I'll let you make that decision. Mhm. So, well, I think I'd like to keep it fairly simple, in that, in even I'm a believer minutes include more than just a motion, and that there can be some preamble to a motion, and that um, something to the effect, and you may want to wordsmith this all, but something to the effect, upon subsequent consideration or review, has been determined that motion such and such, which is January 27th minutes, if I look at it, resolution 26.048 was a motion regarding this matter to table to a future date. That the official administrator did not make any kind of official decision regarding this topic, something to that effect. Because yeah, uh, yeah, I yeah. I'm very much in favor of having a softer rescinding or reconsideration or whatever. If if you'd asked me at the time the motion on record was made, I wasn't thinking of a softer approach at that time. But no, I want the best for council. I want the best for this town. I want the best for the administration. So whatever works for that. And like I said, I have no problem with this report being made public. Okay, you're welcome. Okay. Okay.
Did you want me to read that out for you? We're looking for a motion that would direct administration to draft a letter to the board as discussed and organize a meeting between council and the board.
I move what Chris just said.
Okay, all those in favor? Carried unanimous. 16.2. Personnel. Can I get a motion on that one, please?
I'll motion that.
You motion that we accept the information as presented. Is that the motion you're making? Thank you. 16.3. Can I get a motion on that one? That we accept the information as presented.
Council accept the discussion with the official administrator as information.
I move that we accept the discussion and information with the official administrator as information.
All in favor? So carried and unanimous. And we have the one correction to make in the minutes, or we're just,
You can go ahead and make that public because it was a statement.
okay. Do you want to make that statement? Counselor Morrison?
The selection of the auditor for 2025, a correction, it was not a resolution of council. It was a discussion of council and a discussion of council with agreement in closed session. The official administrator strongly recommended not to change the auditor. There was some confusion. The official administrator wrote his recommendation in a paper dated the 5th of February, attached to the minutes, for the minutes,
And is attached,
and is attached to the minutes.
shall be attached to these minutes.
Sorry, Councillor Morrison, correction is February 4th. 5th.
Oh, sorry, my apologies. Thank you. What he said. Did I get out of trouble?
You can adjourn the meeting now, Your
Okay.
Honor. It's not it was just a statement, it is not a motion. Am I correct? We're not looking
That is
to
correct.
agree to this unless council would like to make a motion to agree to that statement.
No, we're good.
Otherwise, it's just a statement.
Yep.